This one is the new motherboard. So when we check at the new motherboard, we have so many ports, right? So when we place this motherboard in the CPU, we have to make sure we are placing in such a way that this is the front panel. The front panel should be coming to the left hand side. Rather, this is the so this is the front panel, this is the back panel. So in back panel you connect the Ethernet and those things. So back panel should come to the left hand side, and the front panel should be to the forward part. So when we consider what are the things, basically let's start with this thing. So this one is the ATX pin or ATX cable. So let's say we have the SMPS power supply. So it's power supply will be having 230 volt. That 230 volt will be converted into 230 DC. That DC will be converted to 12 volt DC. So that 12 volt DC will be connected here, and this will supply voltage or current for all the circuits or all the hardware components. So let's say this is 12 volt. This 12 volt will be converted to this capacitor. So if you can see, like one capacitor, two capacitor, and here also we have capacitors. Here also we have a series of capacitors. So this 12 volt will be going and storing the charge or the voltage in this capacitors. Now this capacitors will automatically split the voltage depending upon what is required. So let's say we have a device here which needs only 5 volt, or let's say we have a device which needs only 3.3 volt. So this 12 volt will be split into 3.35 plus 5 minus 5 plus 12 minus 12 plus 3 minus 3. So that's the use of capacitors here. Now this is the ATX cable. So the SMPS power supply, the cable will be connected here. Then this is the RAM slot. So in the new CPU motherboard we have two slots, so one slot and two slot. So we just have to remove this two ports here. We just have to connect the RAM, and we just have to lock this one. Now troubleshooting part is that, let's say if I'm having a RAM slot, and if the RAM slot is not working, then in that case I can remove that RAM slot. I can just erase that part of that RAM pins, and I can just connect it back and interlock it. So let's say even if that is not working, it means that there should be a problem with the RAM slot or with the RAM chip. So we take a different computer, we connect that RAM to that computer and check if it is working with that slot. If it is not working, it means that the RAM slot is connected or it is corrupted. But in this case, if you see, the entire part is soldered here, so we cannot unsolder this and solder it back. It will be a different process. So in that case, if any problem with this entire slot, we have to replace the entire motherboard. Here we have the CPU's processor socket. So we have this land grid array model here, where we have the processor chip that will be connecting here, and we just interlock this with this model. Now here we have the ATX 12 volt. So we had the SMPS power supply, where one 12 volt supply is coming here, which will be powering the entire circuit or the entire motherboard. We have one more cable 12 volt supply which will be coming here. Now the role of this socket is that from this socket, the auto connection comes from SMPS that will be providing power only for this processor. So this is for entire circuit, this is only for processor. And along with the processor, we also have a fan which will be fitting on this. So fan will be also the power for the fan, because when we on the computer, the fan should be running because it's an active heat sink. So the power will be provided from this thing. So this will act as a power source for processor as well as for the fan. Now talking about this is the audio jack. Not the audio jack, rather the port where this purple is where we connect the keyboard, and green is where we connect the mouse. Usually now it's an olden computer days, but now we use the USB port for both keyboard as well as mouse. If we talk about this is a parallel port. So use of this parallel port is that this can be used for connecting the scanners or printers. So in the olden times, you might have seen, or in the Xerox shop we have the Xerox machine, right? That will be connected to this parallel port. This is the serial port, this green color. So this serial port is for connecting different devices. Like let's say you want to connect to an monitor display or something else like that. That's the serial port. This is the VGA port, video graphic array, where we'll be connecting the external monitors or the monitor for the computer. And these are the USB port 1, 2, 3, 4. Total of 4 USB port, and this is the Ethernet cable. So when we connect the Ethernet cable, if the light is blinking here, it means that it's a working condition. Otherwise, we have to replace the entire model. And these are the audio jacks. We have different color coding. Depending on color coding, we have to connect this thing. Let's say if I'm having an USB jack, which is blue color, I have to connect to the blue. If I'm having a pink color, I have to connect to pink. So these are the audio jack. And if you see here, this one, and this one, these are the PCI slot, as in the extension slot. Now this is 1-bit PCI slot. This is 8-bit, 12-bit PCI slot, and this is called PCI extended. So this is PCI, and this is PCI extended. Let's say if I'm having a graphic card which I have to connect here, I can connect here. Let's see if I'm having a graphic card with a fan attached to it. Then I'll be having, let's say, maybe 3 or 4 pin extra. In that case, I cannot be able to attach to here. Rather, I'll be attaching to the extended cable, or PCI extended, PCIe. And this is the compressed version of PCI, where let's say if I'm having an compressed version of any graphic card which is very small, I have to connect to this port. Then this is the audio jack. So from the front panel, whatever the audio connection we are connecting, that will be connected to this 9-pin audio jack. And this is your system fan. So let's see if I'm having an external fan that I have to connect to the entire motherboard. I'll be connecting to this 4-pin circuit. This is the USB port. Let's say here we had 2 USB which will be connecting to the CPU. That will be connected to these 10-pin slots. Then we have this thing. So these are for audio jack. So this is the front panel as it is mentioned here. So we can connect USB audio jack and buzzers, the whatever buzzer we have to connect, and as well the system reset button. So and even the LEDs can be connected to the system front. These are the SATA cables. So the SATA hard disk will be connected to these. So the SATA cables from the power supply for the hard disk will be connected to the SATA port. This entire thing is the front panel. So when we connect the to the motherboard, this should be facing the front side, so that we can connect all the front facing panels to this port. If we consider this back panel, audio port, Ethernet, 4 USB, the VGA cable, parallel port, serial port, and the mouse and the keyboard port. And this is the system fan. So this will be powering up the processor, as well as the active heatsink will be connecting, which will be provided by the power supply, which is SMPS. These are the RAM chips. So these are 2 slots, so 1 slot and 2 slot. If in case is there any issue with the RAM slot for 1, we can connect to the second and check the configuration. And if any requirements are required for troubleshooting, we can remove the RAM chip and try to connect in a different computer. If that is also not working, it's a problem with this. But as it is in PCB where we cannot unsolder this, we have to replace the entire motherboard. This is the processor socket. Will be connecting the land grid processor here, and will be interlocking the entire model. This is the CMOS chip. So this is the CMOS where we'll be connecting the CMOS battery. CMOS battery is responsible for storing the data such as date and time and system configuration. So all the system, whenever we open on the computer, the default timing and the date will be set from this thing, and that information will be stored in the CMOS battery. Also in this circuit, we'll be having something called as 3-pin jumper. Now 3-pin jumper is that, let's say if I'm having computer and I don't know what is the password. In that case, I need to reset the password. There are 2 methods that we can use. One, we can in 3-pin jumper. Let's say this is the 3-pin jumper. So in this 3-pin jumper, I'll be having 3 connection, 1, 2, 3. So I'll be connecting by default. The first pin and third pin will be interconnected. Now, if in case there's an issue with the password, I'll be removing the cable from first pin and connecting it to second pin. Now, if the cable is connected from second pin to third pin, in that model it will reset the password. So in that case, I'll be able to reset password and provide a new password and set up a new one. The second method is that we can remove this CMOS battery from the socket for 10 minutes, and we can place the CMOS back to it and power up the computer. In that case, the entire system configuration will be reset. So as it is storing the data and time and the system configuration, and entire thing will be reset, then we can it's basically flashing the computer, where we can set up the computer from initial scratch.